Well, here we have it, ladies and gents. Rings of Power footage draws high praise from the Tolkien community, says the OneRing.net. Now, this is the same Tolkien community that Amazon asked to appear in their, Tolkien fans, the fan footage part, where they clearly had no idea about anything to do with The Lord of the Rings. If it's that, I'm not really that bothered. Oh, but wait, no, it's even better. It's several PhDs. Yes, because academia's 100% not infested with far left ideology at this point in time. So, we can pretty much disregard these academics, right? No? Yeah? Right. What an absolute joke. The OneRing.net, famous for calling out anyone that didn't like the Rings of Power trailers as being racist and misogynistic. Yep. The same people. Let's take a look at this fantastic, incredible article. Several PhDs... also, they block everyone as well, so just as an FYI. Several PhDs, published authors, Tolkien tubers and TikTokers. Wow, TikTokers, yeah! Have shared their first impressions of completed footage from Prime Video's massive new Lord of the Rings TV series, The Rings of Power. They also have their own report, which we'll take a look at, because it's going to be gold. We've gathered all the reactions, so here they are. Amazon assembled a wide group of Tolkien fans for this adventure. Again, let's use that term very, very loosely, right? Let's use it very loosely, because we already have evidence that what they considered to be fans were not fans. But if anyone on the trip is to be considered a celebrity, that's right, because, what we really want is celebrities reviewing stuff, because they definitely don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, it's Dr. Corey Olsen, known as the Tolkien Professor. Now, he's a founder and header of Signum University, an accredited online-only graduate school which counts Stephen Colbert as an avid viewer. Corey held court for the first introductions, entertaining a revolving circle of fellow ringers and fans of his work throughout the week. I couldn't give a shit. The way academia is going, we can pretty much blanket statement these individuals as just far left-wing. And as such, they will applaud all of the inclusivity for inclusivity's sake and diversity for diversity's sake, rather than, actual fandom of what Tolkien wanted The Lord of the Rings to be. We can all pretty much universally state that. That's fine. And I don't normally like doing sweeping statements, but academia has come to that level at this point in time. I love seeing how excited folks are finally to meet him, while I'm sure he will share his thoughts over the coming days and weeks across his many broadcasts on Twitch. That's right, he's a Twitch streamer. Corey's small but powerful statement has made waves as an acknowledgement of the quality of the showrunners in charge. Well, let's take a look at that. Last week, I was invited by the Lord of the Rings on Prime folks, along with a bunch of other internet Tolkien folks, to attend an advanced screening of some footage from Rings of Power show and to meet the showrunners. I must say, after meeting them, I feel the show is in very good hands. I mean, that means nothing, but alright. The Tolkien Society, currently headed by Sean Gunner, is probably the most respected Lord of the Rings fan group since its founding while J.R.R. Tolkien was still alive. They have always championed the literary legacy of Tolkien's works and often are a strong and balanced community voice among the hype that Hollywood generates. It's no small thing to have a positive review from the Tolkien Society, and in their post about Amazon's events, Sean praises what he saw and heard. The show has been created with a level of craftsmanship and attention to detail which is unparalleled, and which is a love letter to the Professor. This is a level of commitment and interest that can't simply be faked. Speaking with the showrunners, I'm convinced that they are the right people to adapt Tolkien's works. How? Because we've already had interviews with them where they're like, oh yeah, no, we're doing something completely off, actually. So I'm a bit confused by that, but alright. Nerd of the Rings, one of the biggest YouTube channels who started talking about lore and has grown into wonderful interviews with some of our favourite people, shared a 30-minute travelogue with an essential comment at the end. My trajectory on this show has gone from cautious to cautiously optimistic, with excitement creeping in. That's not exactly positive. Oh, I was terrified of this show. Now I'm sort of optimistic. Not really a good review. My count may be off, but there were around 30 influencers at this Prime Video Lord of the Rings event, each with an incredible personal perspective and deeply engaged audiences. Tea with Tolkien, whose aesthetic I will always strive to reach but never attain, posts. As a lifelong Tolkien fan, I'm no stranger to seeing adaptations go off the rails or Tolkien's creative works being exploited for profit. So I will always retain some level of nervousness towards anything set in or inspired by Middle-earth. But after learning so much more about the show and its creators, I do feel quite a bit more confident going forwards. From what I've seen, it seems to me that this show is in competent hands. The thing is, none of these people have referenced actual material that they've shown. None of these statements actually talk about the footage. So a TikToker has a breakdown, who was a breakout lore hero for our marathon 6-hour trailer analysis live stream, shares his excitement. And just said, my Rings of Power sneak peek. And that was it. I'm not playing this piece of garbage. TikTok can die. Killy from Happy Hobbit was there too, known for co-authoring Middle-earth from script to screen with Daniel Falconer and Peter Jackson. She has mined the Weta archives and brings a unique perspective on Amazon's show, which I hope we get more of on the Lord of the Rings, or the OneRing.net today soon. Tuesday soon. Says, raising a pint to the professor in... Oh, God, bloody Twitter. Raising a pint to the professor, then the Lamb and Flag pub, where the Inklings often gathered for a drink and to share their writing. I'll post more soon, but for suffice it to say, I was humbled to have been invited. I mean, none of this is not positive. She's tweeting that she just had a pint. I mean, are you joking me? The spin on this. And then other people says, new tiny letter in which I very unexpectedly had a sneak preview of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Not positive. You couldn't write this stuff, honestly. The most important thing we've discovered and believe we can make public, Tolkien Estate is involved in the creative process. That's not a selling point anymore. And had active participation during the process. This gives us an idea that Amazon has really had people who are experts in the field. No, because people have literally left that were experts. And have helped to fill in the gaps that exist in what is written about the Second Age. We love the music. The visual aspect is very good. And it gives us an air of something already known. Quite different from the trailer itself that was released months ago. Again, we like the music. Oh, it looked alright. Most movies have good music and look alright. But it's the story that matters. God, these people are really coping hard, aren't they? And then we have this. Lord of the Rings on Prime had me and Tolkien Professor to London last week to see bits of Rings of Power, Tolkien's Oxford, and to meet the showrunners who kept up with the best of us. Their passion and knowledge made me feel like they were one of us. They get it. I'm feeling very optimistic. Again, that's nothing. What is wrong with these people? Still don't believe the hype? What hype? Oh, the music was alright and it looked okay. Cinematography was decent. This is pathetic. Alan and Sean were invited to London by Amazon Prime Video to view a sneak peek of footage from the Rings of Power and to meet the showrunners. We can say that we have moved from cautious optimism to restrained anticipation and are looking forward to telling you more. If that's all you're able to say, that's not a good sign. I was lucky enough to be invited to have a sneak preview of Lord of the Rings. This is not good stuff. None of this is positive. Last week I had some of the best days in a long time. Amazon invited me to a short trip to London, plus Oxford, and I got to see some truly interesting things. Very interesting things. Not positive. Why do people think this is positive? God, people are morons. No one is commenting on the footage being good. The fundamental elements that people were annoyed about with this show is the sort of, well, the far removal from lore, established elements, and how the story progresses, and butchers established characters and what we know about characters. None of this has addressed any of that. Amazon invited me to an event in London where I saw footage from the show and got to meet the showrunners. The showrunners were excellent. The problem is when everything is universally positive like this. This is not good. None of this is good. When it's all just positive, you question it at that point. You go, yeah, probably not then. And the OneRing.net, again, well renowned for just being buttholes about stuff. So, yeah. We can't share any details right now. But we can tell you that there are wonders being crafted. Is that it? That wasn't in question. The amount of money that they've spent on it wasn't in question. None of that was in question. It was what they were doing and whether they were changing things and adjusting things. And one thing I will repeat, and I put it in a Netflix video, is that if everything has to meet exactly the same criteria of inclusion and diversity, which does matter, especially when we're talking about this specific product, which was created by Tolkien as almost like a modern day myth creation for Europe, right? If everything must fit a certain checklist of, characters and diversity and inclusion, then nothing is diverse because everything looks exactly the same. And that sucks. There is no diversity at that point because everything is exactly the same. I know exactly what I'm going to get with every single film, TV show I consume. The men will be downplayed, the women will be raised up. There will be silly, random gender and race swaps all over the place. And there's just no point to it because it's all exactly the same. We have it's just like this universal approach to every single film and TV. Now, I want to watch things from Africa, for instance. I would love to watch a show on Africa, myth and legend. Show me that. And then show me something about Vikings, which doesn't have any of the diversity and inclusion in it. Why? Because it fits what you're looking to actually portray. I would love that to be our approach to diversity and inclusion. That I'm happy with. Because then you get authentic stories. This, you get a made-for-committee pile of bollocks. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Take care. Also, perhaps consider checking out my Teespring store. You can find it linked down below in the description box. There's some really cool designs. There's something that you might like on there. And it goes some way to helping the channel out and kind of what I do here. And it's a good way to support and rock some one-of-a-kind merchandise designs. We've got, of course, our favourite Jasper on a Clown World stuff. But then we've also got something a little bit unique. The R32 GTR, as well as a JDM Pulsar GTIR. Again, stuff for everyone. Bit of fun. Please do check it out down below in the description box.